Guys, it's Randall Bennett from Vidpresso, and today I'm gonna start the first of a new series that I'm doing. It's called Write a Game. It's with Randall Bennett, that's me. We're gonna do everything you need to know about writing a game. Before I do this, I'm gonna tweet it out. So we're doing the show live. You can join. You can join us live every day and chat along if you have questions. We're gonna be doing this in the afternoons of each day, so you can check us out. Yeah, so let me really quickly tweet this out to my followers so that we can get started, and then we'll off and running. So today we're using Vidpresso, which is the software that I wrote to create our show. We're going to be sharing our screen and doing a little picture-in-picture stuff. So to get started, we're going to use this software called Node.js. Node.js is a JavaScript way of writing server applications. So what we're going to be creating with Node.js is a game. It's going to be called Backronym. And the basic premise is I'm going to give you a bunch of letters, like 4 or 5 different letters. You as a user create an acronym for those letters, and then everyone who's playing votes on the best acronyms to win. So that's the basic premise of the game. To do this, we're going to be using a programming framework called React. React is pretty notable. It's built by Facebook, but it's something that a lot of people use. We're also going to be using this thing called Create React App, which it's like a really easy way of creating a React app. And for our text editor, we're going to use this thing called Atom. Atom is how we're going to be editing text. I have this lovely big huge window here that shows all of my terminal so you can follow along. Let me go really quick and create a directory in my code directory. And we're going to go inside of experiment. And inside here, we're going to run create. So I've already installed both Node.js, which you can install on your own, nodejs.org. And I've already installed Create React App, which if you go here, once you've installed Node.js, you just run this npm install-g create react app, and then you have this command create react app. So I'm going to do that right now. Create react app, and we're going to call this one Backronym. So now it's going to do a whole bunch of stuff to install. It's getting a whole bunch of different packages, and it's going to have everything that we need in order to be able to run this. So this is an install, play along at home with me. And by the way, the music we're doing today is Trent Reznor from the Social Network, because I like this music to code too. So hopefully you enjoy it as well. If you have if you have comments, you can chat along. Let's see, just waiting for this to go. All right, it's finishing up right now. One more time. Here it goes. You can fast forward to the video, probably 30 seconds if you want to see the finished product. All right, now we're going to follow along, and we're going to do CD Backronym. Until yarn start. All right, this starts up. If you're watching live, you can also get in the chat and answer any questions as well. Okay, so we're starting the development server. Now it should be up. And now it's loaded on a different browser. Let me go over here and bring it over. All right, so it's loaded. So now it brings up this lovely React getting started screen. Let me go over here to we're going to go back to our terminal. I'm going to open a new terminal split. Make it big again so you can see. And we're going to go back to code, experiments, Backronym. All right, and I'm going to open this in Atom. Atom is the text editor that I use to code in. Here we are. The computer's running a little slow, it seems. There it goes. All right, so in here there's a file called source and app.js. This is the main file that we're going to update. So if I make this say welcome to React exclamations, the cool thing about React Create App is that after I save, it'll compile, and then it automatically reloads. Let me get rid of these windows really quick. Let's find the one we want. this one next to these ones. All right, so we'll have our terminal over here, and we'll have React type over here. So you can see once I hit save, it automatically reloads, and I don't have to do anything else to do this. I can get rid of those exclamation points, and we'll save it, and it'll reload automatically. All right, so let's talk about what our app's going to do. So our application, it's going to be a application. It's going to be a game. We're going to build a game, and the game is going to be, I'm going to have a list of letters on the screen. So say I have like 6 letters on the screen, and based on those letters, I want you to come up with an acronym that fits those letters. So say I had LRG, Larry Randall Great. I don't know, you can come up with an acronym better than that. But that's what the game's going to be. So it's going to be creating an acronym for this game. And we're going to have multiplayers, people on different computers being able to play. Eventually, we'll integrate this into Facebook Live, maybe, so you can play it on Facebook Live, maybe on YouTube Live. We'll see. Anyway, but that's the premise of the game. Is there's going to be a bunch of letters that show up, and from those letters, you're going to create an acronym, and then people who are playing the game get to vote on the best acronym, and the best acronym wins. So that's the premise of the game. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to create a very, 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 very simple prototype. And I'm doing this hopefully in just an hour, so hopefully we'll be able to get everything done to create the prototype of the game on my own computer in an hour or less. Okay, so to do this, we're going to have this welcome to React thing. It's going to display an acronym. So let's go up here. We're going to make a function called get acronym, and it's going to take so let's make it have we're going to make a string, and we're going to make the string have all the letters in the alphabet. Okay, so now we have a string that has all the letters of the alphabet. Now we need to get a random. We're gonna make this function called getLetter, and then we're gonna make another function called getAcronym, and it will take a number of characters. Okay, so now that we have all letters, we're going to get a random letter out of the alphabet. So we're going to go, we're going to use there's this thing called math.random. This will give us a random number that is less than 0, between 0 and 1. So we're going to do times by 100, so that we get, the number can range from 0 to 100. And then we're going to do math.floor, which will round it down to, it'll round it down so it'll be like a whole number. So it'll be like 1 to 100. Now in our all letters, we're going to get a random, so we're going to turn our random number into a index by saying random number, and we're going to use this cool thing called modulo, which is like, did you ever do long division back in the day? If you ever did long division back in the day, there's this thing called a remainder. Remember, so you like 6 divided by 9, and that wouldn't have a remainder. 6 divided by 10 would have a remainder 1, right? So modulo is like the remainder. And you can use modulo to do stuff. You can get specific numbers from modulo, so it's pretty cool. All right, so we're going to do random number modulo all letters dot length, which is a list of, this is the number of characters. So there's 26 characters here. So we're going to say, give me a number that is our random number divided by all letters dot length, but give me the remainder. So it's going to give us a number that's between 1 and 26. Okay. And then we're going to do return all letters, and we're going to get the letter specified by the index number, right? All right, so now over here I'm going to do get, I'm just going to run this to make sure that we got something. Return get letter. And then down here, I'm going to make our acronym go right here. So I'm going to say get acronym. All right. Let's see what we got. So I hit save. It's gonna refresh, and I got a letter L, I think. Now if I hit refresh, I got a letter S, H. So right now I have a random letter generator that gives me one letter. Okay. So now we're gonna say we want to get how many numbers of. We're gonna default this to say 4-letter acronym, and then we're gonna run a for loop. We're gonna say we're gonna have a acronym. So we're gonna have a thing called acronym. It's just gonna be blank for now. This is pressure coding. I don't even remember how to do a for loop, so I'm gonna Google it with you. For loops in JavaScript. I always go to MDN because MDN is the best source for this stuff. So if you're looking it up, so we're gonna do a for loop, and we're gonna do for step equals 0, step less than 5, step plus plus. So let's do the same thing. We'll just call it step to match MDN, and we'll do for step equals 0. And then we'll do step is less than number of characters, step plus plus. Okay, so what's happening here? We're initializing it with this. We're saying this when this starts out, make step be 0. Then each time it runs, check to see if this is true. So if step is less than number of characters, keep running. If it becomes greater than number of characters, stop. And then at the end of each loop, we're going to increment step by 1. That's what plus plus means. All right, so we got our for loop here. We're going to now, so we're going to do acronym plus equals get letter. So what this is going to do, it's going to it's going to run get letter. It's going to add the letter to the acronym, and then it'll do that 4 times. And then when it's done, we'll have our acronym, and we're going to return that down here. Acronym. Okay. I feel so much pressure right now. This is such an interesting thing. All right, we saved. We're back over here. It's refreshing. Cool. Look, first time is the charm. So now we're getting a 4-letter acronym that is generating each time. Right? If we wanted to get more numbers, say we want to get a 10-letter acronym, we hit save, and then this will refresh, and now we have a 10-letter acronym. So the cool thing is we can get an acronym that is any length that we want. All right. So next, let's have a spot to enter acronyms in. Oops, Justin's calling me. So let's enter our acronyms down here. So we'll have a space to enter acronyms, and we're gonna make a space to vote on acronyms too. So down here, we're gonna make an input. So an input is just like a text field. When this reloads, you'll see it's just like a text field. So I can just type in stuff. And then we're gonna make a button that says submit acronym. And then we'll make one that says vote on acronym. All right, so now if we go refresh, you can see we can submit an acronym and we can vote on an acronym. All right, so let's, the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna introduce the concept of state. So when a person types an acronym, they're gonna type it in right here, or they're gonna type in something and then they're gonna hit submit. And we're gonna check if this matches, if their text starts with the right letters, then they can, then it will count. And if it doesn't, then it won't count. So let's try this. So we're going to do on change. This basically says every time this change run this code every time something changes. And we're going to make a code. We're going to do this dot update draft. So we're going to make a function called update draft up here. And it's going to take an event. It's the onChange event. And then we're going to get the value. And I'm going to introduce something really important here. We're going to do console.log. So all I'm going to do right now is make sure that my value is set right. So it's going to compile. And then once it's compiled, now I can go back over here and it's refreshing. I'm going to click this inspector. You might have seen this before, you might not have seen this before. Oops, it opened a full screen window. Let me pop it down to the bottom of the screen. So the cool thing about this inspector, it shows me all the HTML on the page. It also has this JavaScript console. And as I type down here, you see how that text updates. So I can actually see I can see how that data is flowing. So as I type in here, this onChange handler runs. This onChange handler updates the value, and then I get the value and I log it out. So we've got a good starting point. We're going to add some other stuff now. We're going to add this thing called a constructor. This is the first thing that runs. And super just tells, it's like run the parent of this. So we're inheriting from this thing called a component. I'm sorry, I'm explaining this really fast because I really want to make a game for you. If all you learn here is you have to type super inside of your constructor in order for it to work properly. All right, we're going to do this dot state. So we're going to set our initial state, and we're going to say acronym is get acronym. And then instead of showing this random acronym here, we're going to do this dot state dot acronym. All right, if we're successful, oh, I screwed something up. Oops, so I put a semicolon instead of a comma there, which is a super easy mistake to make. The cool thing about Create React App is it'll show you what errors you make, so you can know. All right, so we have our thing up there. It's now in the state. That means I can get access to it in other places. We're also going to make a thing called draft. And draft is just going to have an empty string in it. And then we're going to do this dot set state draft value. All right, and then we're going to set the value of this over here. Okay, so now when I type, we have it refresh. Now as I type, it looks like oops, I messed up something. Cannot read properly set state of undefined. Oh, whoops, I forgot to bind it. So one thing you have to do when you run functions that are using the word this, you have to bind them, which is a super annoying thing. If all you do is just do this, it'll fix it. All right, because we were using the keyword this, which means like our current component, we had to bind it, and we bind that in our constructor. So now that I've done that, I'm gonna go back over here. I'm gonna type some more. Now it doesn't narrow out. It looks like it's the exact same as before, but a very important thing happens here. We're gonna make a thing called submit draft. Do a thing called validate draft string. Okay, so we have to bind this one again. Down here, we're going to type, when you click this button, we're going to do this dot submit draft. So when you click this button, this code's going to run. Okay? And we're going to make another function called validate draft string. And this validate draft string is going to make sure that this acronym matches this draft. Okay? So we're going to say, first we're going to do is we're going to log out we're going to log out the draft string just to make sure that our thing is running end to end. So it's going to refresh. And then I'm going to type hi, hi, hi. And we see hi, hi, hi. So we got, it's running all the way through end to end. So now what we're going to do here is we're going to try to make sure that the first letter of each parts of our acronym matches the acronym. So our draft has to match the letters. So if I type big, gnarly, nasty bug, that's a good one. I want to make sure that when I type that in that those letters match the acronym. So what we're going to do, we're going to take this draft string, I'm going to run this thing called debugger. Debugger is a cool thing that lets you kind of write code in the console to make sure it's working right. So if I type submit, my code comes up, and I actually have access to the draft string here. So I can do draft string split. We're going to split it on spaces. This one doesn't have any spaces. So the first thing we're going to have to check is, does it have the right number of spaces? So I'm going to get rid of debugger. And we're going to do draft string dot split. And this says split this draft string into an array. So that's like a list of things. And so we want to say, does it have the same number of, is it just as long as the acronym? All right, so this is going to return true or false. So I'm going to log that out. All right, so we're going to refresh. Now EFBX. If I hit submit, it does not have the same length. Why? It should be 4. Oh, whoops! I meant to do dot length here. There we go. So now when I log this out, after it refreshes, OGTT, it now has the same number of spaces. So if I have an extra space, it will fail. And if I have too few spaces, it will fail as well. Okay, so we're going to use that. And we're going to write a little conditional. So if, actually, we'll make this easier. Has right length equals. If it has the right length, then we'll check if the characters are right. So now, what we're gonna do is we're gonna take the draft string and we're gonna take the characters and make sure that it is right. So the way we're gonna do that is we're gonna use this thing called a map. So we're gonna go draft string dot split over the space dot map string. Okay. Actually, we're going to use reduce because we're going to build a string. So instead of map, let me show you. I'll just do it and we'll explain. array. We're going to take each string in the array, and we're just going to get the first letter of it, right? Now if I log this out, we'll have an array of the first letters of each of the things. So F, B, C, Y, run. I just need, excuse me, sorry. I need to get a mute button more easily accessible. All right, so fancy dogs can yelp. And you can see I have the first letters of each one, but they're in an array. And what we want to do is we want to compare and make sure that this string matches the first letter of each of our strings. So we're going to do this thing called, instead of using map, map will create an array, which is a list of these letters, right? What I want to do instead is reduce. And reduce is going to say, okay, get over each of these. It's like a map, and then it runs over a collection of items. So I have a collection of items that I'm going to run over, and I'm going to get the first letter for each one. But instead of creating an array, I'm actually going to create a string. All right? So we're going to change this so it says first letters of draft. And then instead of returning string 0, we're going to say get the complete string and add the first letter of each letter. And so now I want to look at first letters of draft. Now we're going to refresh. All right, ZTTU. Zebras translate Tongan Urdu. I don't know what they should go there. Oh, look. So what happened there? URDUT. What did we do wrong? That means it got the last word. What happened there? Let's check out what's happening each time this runs. So I'm going to run console.warn, which is a different looking, it's another way of logging to the console. And we're going to do string 0 complete string. And we're going to see exactly what I did wrong. Under zebras, forget zilch. So now we're going to go look up the documentation for reduce because I did something wrong. JavaScript reduce. Let's see what we did wrong. Oh, it's backwards. I did it backwards. So the first one is the collection. So this is going to say complete string, and this is going to say string. Now, if I save that and it refreshes, let's see if we did it right. Keep your mouth holy. Cool. So we got it right. KJMH. So our end result is that it's the same. So now we're going to say if first letters of draft. Actually, let's make a thing that says first letters of draft matches acronym. And if we want to, we can actually get rid of the first condition because the second condition was even better. So I'm going to go get rid of this first if. And we're just going to do this. And then we're going to say return first letters of draft matches acronym. So this would be true or false, right? So over here we're going to say if this is true, console.log hooray. And then we're going to return. So we'll say this function is done. And then down here, if that's not true, we're going to warn boo. All right, back over here. So first I'm just going to write random text, submit. Boo, it says. Now I'm going to write FHGY. And that matches, hooray. Now let's do a real acronym. Find his great yard. Hooray, it matches. All right, so we have a lot of it done. Now what we need to do is let's take our hooray. So hooray, if it's successful, we're going to make a new thing called acronyms in the state. It's going to be an array, which is like a list. And then we're going to get let's see. So this is basically going to say give me a copy of this list. Then we're going to add ours to the list. And then we're going to update the state with our list. And we're going to add we're going to set the draft to be blank. All right, here we go. So when this runs, want or zilch Edward. It's a crappy one, but hey. We're gonna hit submit and it goes away. Now, we're gonna get rid of this console log here. And we're gonna list the acronyms that we have. So down here, I'm gonna make a list. We'll make the list below the input. So we're going to take the state, acronyms, and we're going to map it and we're going to return a list item that has the acronym in it. All right, so if you go back over here, I don't know how much time we've been, 30 minutes is pretty good. All right. So finally found your queen. Look, now it's there. So if I type a bad one, the bad one doesn't show up. It just does nothing right now. If I type another one, forget friends you quiet. There's two of them. Now the other thing we're gonna do is we're gonna put a, we actually nested this thing inside of key, which is we're gonna make a vote button for these acronyms. All right, so if we go back over here, get some queen quick. I have a vote button that I can push, and I will push that. Now, there's a warning down here. It says each item of an array should have a unique key property. So we'll do that really quick here. Key equals acronym. This is just the thing that React says that it wants you to specify. It's a long story. Just do it and trust me that it works. Our Linux Edward baby. Boom. All right. Now, as part of our game, let's make the ability to vote on things. So currently, acronyms are an array, a list of things. They're just a list of strings. We actually want to be able to keep track of the votes on each one. So now, instead of being an array, they're actually going to be objects. So we're going to make this an object instead of an array. And an object means it's like a dictionary. You look up a word. So like if you have an object that has like, I know anatomy can't map over objects. So if you have an object that has like a key and that key equals a value, if I type object.key, it gives me the value, right? So instead of having just a random list of things that are like a list of an ordered list of things, we're actually going to use this object, and this object is how we're going to map over. We're going to save each of these in as an object. So we do this real quick so it renders. And now let's go back here. Okay. So we're going to do, it's going to be an object like this. So instead of having a random list, it's going to be an object. And we're going to, instead of pushing it into the list, we're going to actually set the value. So it's going to look like this. We're going to do prior list, and then this bracket means like execute the code. And so this is gonna, like, I'll explain this in a sec how it looks. Equals an object that has a value, and then a vote count that is 0. And then down here, instead of mapping over an object, which you're not allowed to do, we're going to do, let's Google map over object JavaScript. Let's see what Google recommends. Object.entries, that's awesome. Cool. All right, so we're going to do object.entries. Okay, and so this will return an array that looks like this. Acronym, object. And so we're showing the key acronym here. And then we're going to do a number of votes. Object.vote. All right, so now we should be able to see, hopefully it'll render, unless we have an error. Cool. Never other nouns Nelly. Uh-oh, it didn't work. Boo. What happened? Let's hit refresh and see if it... Oh, it's because I did capital letter N. That's why. Really, you would forget. All right, so because we had that problem, we're going to do one more thing. We're going to make all of our strings lowercase when we're comparing. So if I do a capital letter, Kelly beats with house. It'll still go in now because it matches even though the casing is different. All right, cool. So now we're going to vote for individual items. Alright, this is going to be a little bit weird. So what we want to do is we want to have one function called this.vote, and we want to have it use an acronym that is from here. So we're going to do this a little bit weird. We're going to have to do this thing where we return a function. Because we want to use the word acronym up here, we're going to return this function. And now, basically, like, the only thing you have to know is if you don't have a parenthesis here, you're going to do it the normal way, like if you're just using the event. But if you do have parentheses, you're going to do it this crazy way, returning a function. Alright, so we're going to bind it. Don't want to forget that. Okay, now it's bound. Now, we're going to run this dot. Oh, we're going to find the individual. So let's get, let's do the object at a sign thing again. We're going to do this exact same thing. And then we're going to do prior list acronym equals dot votes. Sorry. It should be votes. Make it plural. Alright. Equals prior list acronym votes plus 1. This dot set state acronyms prior list. All right. Let's see if this works. I think if it works, we're going to be able to vote on individual items. So this is compiling. Now it's done. It refreshes. Crazy underwear. Yes. Let's try voting. Woohoo! We have our votes. All right. So now, MDMA, 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 ecstasy. So now we can vote on each of these. Each time I vote on them, in increments. So we're gonna get rid of this extraneous vote on acronym button. And then the last thing we're going to do is pick a winner. So down here, we're going to have a button that says pick winner. Hey man, sup, ooh. So now when I hit the pick winner button, it's gonna go through and it's gonna pick out the one that has the most votes and name it the winner, okay? This will be the last thing we do as part of this first session. So now we're gonna make a function called pick winner, and we're gonna bind it up here. Oops, I meant to do pick winner. Okay. Now we're gonna get we're gonna use this again. So we're gonna get the prior list. We're gonna do object dot entries prior list dot map. Oops. Acronym. And then we're gonna do this crazy thing in here. We're gonna get the number of votes from each of them. Stick with me, I know it's crazy. And instead of map, we're gonna reduce, which means the first item is an empty item. We're gonna have to actually get the whole object. All right. Return prior item. Actually, we're not going to do this. We're going to do. First thing we're going to do is just make it work. So return the prior item or the acronym. So this should make it so that the last one wins, or the first one wins every time. And we're going to say winner.value dot winner equals true. So by default, this is going to have a thing called winner that is false. Okay. Let's see, how are we going to view the winner? Actually, instead of setting it this way, we're just going to store the winner. So let's do this a different way. The state will have a winner. And then clear down here. We're going to do state.set item winner. We can just do it like this, shorthand. This is the same thing as doing this. We'll just do it the long way because it's easier to understand. Okay, so we're going to take this winner. If you win, we're going to set you down here. And then down here, we're going to say we're gonna make it show up if this dot state dot winner dot value is true. Then we'll show up a paragraph text that says winner this dot state dot winner dot value votes. All right. I don't think this is gonna work, but we'll try it anyway. So I just saved it. It's compiling. Now it's compiled. It's gonna refresh. All right. White. Somebody licked Linux. I'm gonna vote. Pick the winner. Didn't work. Oh, because I forgot to make the button happen. On click equals this dot pick winner, I think. All right, try again. It's gonna refresh. And then we'll try one more time. Randall Rock's proverbial bouts. Full vote, pick winner. All right. This dot state dot set item is not a function. I don't know what I was thinking there. I meant to say set state. DUXS. Go. Vote. Pick winner. Didn't error, which is less good. So now pick winner. We're going to log out the state and see what our state looks like. I've got 8 minutes left, and then we're going to be done. Let's see what the winner object looks like. It's empty. So what did I do wrong? Why is the winner state not being set? Let's look at what winner looks like before we're done. Oh, because prior item.
They say
empty.
we're in danger, but
This is the XX now, in case you're wondering.
proven wrong. Shame on me, but you've had faith in me, so I won't shy away.
I'm gonna switch my music.
Should
I
it
need
all fall
silent music,
down,
no words.
you love them.
Some Tycho for us. There we go. All right, so we're gonna pick winner. Oh, it's doing both of them. All right, so I'm just doing this to try to get this to work because I screwed up something. I only have 6 minutes left. Do it like Randall loves. All right, here we go. Refresh. Can lick your devil. Yay, we got it. Huzzah. Okay, so now we're gonna do multiple of them. And the first one should win each time. Okay, now we're gonna compare the number of votes. We're gonna use this thing called a ternary, which is like a really fast way to do something. So if there's a prior item, we're gonna do prior item votes. Oh, this is gonna be nasty. Less than, greater than, acronym votes. This is a nested ternary, which is like super nasty. So we're saying, I'm just gonna do this not nested. We'll just do this in a really easy to understand way. If prior item exists, and if the prior item votes is greater than acronym, let's do this up here. I think it's like that, which is insane. So if the prior item has more votes than the last one, return prior item. Else, return current acronym. Okay. All right, here we go. Let's see what we got. NSLZ. NSLZ. Pick winner. Uh-oh. Remember property votes of undefined. Oh crap, I screwed it up. Let's see if we got it right now. Oh, I forgot that if you have only one item in an array, it will just do the one item. All right. So if you reduce on, if you're reducing over a thing that only has one item, the item automatically populates here. So we're going to go over this, and we're going to check if prior item all right, let's see if this works. I didn't really explain that very well. I was just kind of in a hurry because I only have 1 minute left. OXUL. OUI, sorry. RXXUI. Sweet, the second one won. Now let's have the first one get more votes. The first one wins. Second one has more votes. Second one wins. And we're done. All right. That was a full hour of coding. Hopefully it makes sense to you. If it doesn't, it's okay. Ask questions in the comments. Ask questions in the chat. We're gonna do this live every day for the future, for the first, I don't know, for like some amount of time. And at least weekly on Fridays, maybe even daily, if I can decide to do daily. Anyway, like and subscribe if you can. Thanks so much. See ya.